Welcome to Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. I'm Paula Eddy Wilcox, and today is the third episode with our wonderful guest who is talking about the pivotal moments that make them the leader they are today. I really hope you enjoy the episode. I can't wait to find out what's in store. Welcome to today's episode of Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. We are privileged to have Siobhan Mears from the Mears Collective with us for her third episode of Game of Leadership. And today we're going to be looking at the pivotal moments that make Siobhan the leader she is today. Welcome back, Siobhan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. You know, they say, oh, work is a chore. I have to say, none of this has been a chore at all.
Me neither.
It's been lovely. You know, I just want to remind everybody that you are the founder, owner and director of the Mears Collective. And as we found out in your second episode, you are the leader of a team of players who are brought together with all sorts of different skills, playing the role they were meant to be in their zone of genius to make up the fantastic collective that you have today. Is that a fair synopsis?
That is. That's a great synopsis, actually. I love that. Great analogy there. So, yeah, that's right. Thanks for the introduction.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, look, your first episode, which was episode 21, we were talking about your leadership story, and you did touch on one of the pivotal moments where you talked about becoming a mum for the first time and how that changed your perspective on what you wanted in your work life and how you would lead your career moving forwards. But today we're going to dig a bit more into your pivotal moments. So are you ready?
I am, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, so in terms of pivotal moments, there have been many, particularly over the past 4 years, setting up my business. One of which I touched on, which was, I'll just lightly recap here, is having my, whilst on maternity leave in 2018, I set up my own business, which is the business I'm running now. And that enabled me to step into the real leadership role and take control of master of my own destiny, as we talked about before, and you know, showing up in my life how I wanted to and run the business as I wish, and work-life balance and all those amazing things. But digging a bit deeper than that, I think there's been lots of pivotal moments, and this one actually has 2 points. So it starts way back in my teenage years, and it shows up again towards the end of last year, so a number of years later, shall we say. So this is around myself stepping into the role, a leadership role that I have outside of my business, which I'll touch on. I think we talked about in the show notes. So when I was 17 years old, sadly my mother passed away to terminal cancer, and it was a very pivotal point in my life. So perhaps this might not seem like a leadership story, but you'll understand further on. That was a very difficult time of my life, as you can imagine, and I was at a very formative age as a young woman. 17 years old, I then lived independently just with my siblings and stepped into adulthood, you know, working, paying bills, and very much stepped into adulthood and leading my own life at that point. So I knew at that point, even then, deep down inside, I knew that I wanted to do something to make a difference. I knew that there was something more that I wanted to do, but I didn't know what that was. So it was just more of a survival mode at that young age, and in those unfortunate circumstances, it was more of a survival mode. You know, do what it takes, get your job and work your way up in the corporate world, which was great. And I did work hard, and I did have some fantastic roles and experiences. But the driving force underneath that was 2 things. It was to make a change, make an impact, and also to succeed, because I had been put in quite a difficult situation, adversity, should we call it. So I was in a situation of adversity, and I knew that I had to overcome it. I had very much a strong driving force and an ambition inside, that I wanted to make my mum proud, to not be a product of my circumstance. At that very young and impressionable age, I knew that I wanted to succeed in life, or whatever that meant to me, to make a difference from the environment that I was in to where I wanted to be. I knew that I wasn't ready to just sit back and just let life happen to me. And that resilience really stood me well in my life, and helped me drive forward, moving upwards within different positions in companies, and working in London, in the city, in the financial district, but also in the Middle East, working in oil and gas. So it gave me a great driving force to make a difference to my life, first of all. But as I continued to work, that was something that was a part of my life story, but it didn't define me. I carried on and with my life, and happily met my husband, 2 amazing children. But at that point, and more recent years, I've got a very young family. This experience was coming back to me, and probably because I'm a mother now to 2 daughters, so I understand those feelings as a mother, and what that might have been like for me to lose my mum at a young age, and how I really took time to take stock of, wow, how did I come out of that and get here? It's just survival mode and a drive. And how did I get to this point in my life and set up my business? And it was reflection, and not from an ego place, more from just taking stock of my life, and taking stock of my vision and my passion and my purpose. And I one evening, picking up my laptop in my flexible working way, my children were in bed, and I was just doing a bit of my own business development. And I really am all about giving back in this world. That really, I don't never like to be somebody that's just a taker. I feel like what the law of reciprocity. You get back what you give, and so on. So I love to be working alongside charities, if in any way, even if it's by giving a donation through my company or giving back in some way. And I was thinking about, would it be a charity I'd like to find aligned with the Mears Collective, my business. And I was thinking about this for some time, and I decided, I was looking online for a charity. It came to me that I felt like I could give back through my business, in my leadership role. I could give back to others, children, young women that had experienced mother loss like I had at a young age. So I was looking online for a charity, a very serendipitous moment. I found one, I emailed them, and they were US based. There was nothing like that in the UK. And I contacted them and said, look, I'd love to work somehow with your charity, give back, be a mentor, help other young girls that want to, do well in their careers, or perhaps start up their own business, to show them that they don't have to go through that tough roads that I did. I'd like them to have the support from somebody like me that I didn't have in that unfortunate circumstance. So when I contacted them, they from the US, they told me that they were in London 2 days later. We met, so we met. They said, oh, we're in London in 2 days. It's mad that you contacted us. And we're actually going to be, we hope to be launching the charity in the UK. So I met with them in London, and we connected. We had lots of calls to the US, and I helped in any way that I could with the setting up of the charity here in the UK. And they kindly invited me to be a trustee of the board. And that's an amazing role. So I'm honored to be doing that now, and that's really helping me in that other element of leadership. Not just, I've talked in the other episodes of leading my team, of experiencing leadership from senior leadership roles that that I was supporting, but this is something different. It's being a leader with those in unfortunate circumstances, and giving back.
Oh, Siobhan, what a, as you say, a serendipitous moment. And I just said, wow, as you were telling that story. I mean, how amazing to be able to help young women children sometimes themselves, if they experience the loss of their mum, I can only empathise with the situation, and I applaud you and thank you deeply for sharing what you've been through, and now how you have chosen to turn that around for yourself and help others with what they're going through, and being able to truly sympathise and show them that it's okay. It doesn't matter how long it takes, things will feel better for you at some point, and you don't have to go through this alone because you've got me to help you.
Definitely, and that's what we're doing, is we're finding mentors in London or across the UK as well, and it's something that I feel so passionate about as a mother and as somebody who directly experienced this as a teenager. I know that I'm in a great position to mentor these girls, to help them, to show them that my circumstances then is not the end. It's not the end goal for you. You can do whatever you want. You can achieve whatever you want in life, and to really help them, because I know that would have been invaluable to me when I was in that circumstance. And also, taking on that leadership element as well, leading the business of the charity as well. That's something really exciting. We're registering the charity here in the UK, and heading that up as well as a trustee. It's just an honour to be involved in that. But it's another spin on leadership for me. It's a pivotal moment in my life where the dots are connected, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I can really, really see how that's a pivotal moment. And as you say, the dots connected, and you're doing exactly what you want to do today with all of that experience and knowledge now. So I guess there's a couple of things coming into mind, but the first thing I'm going to ask you about is, if people want to find out more about that charity, can you just give us a little bit of detail about that?
Yes, of course. So I'm happy to share some information on that as well. But it's the charity is called Empower Her UK. We are registering the charity at the moment, so look out for more things coming up. If anybody follows me on my social channels, they'll find some information there. But the basis of the charity, it's done incredibly well in the US, and what it does, it's a charity that finds mentor matches for young girls who have experienced mother loss, and it's to help them through that grief process. We also set up amazing Mother's Day retreats for these young girls to go on. So when their friends are off celebrating Mother's Day with their mothers, it's quite a difficult time, and it helped them to feel special. We'll have like yoga teachers there. We'll have pampering. It's about empowering them, as well. And I'm all about female empowerment, and that starts from a young age as well. It's to show them that they don't need to, that it's okay to grieve. It's okay to express their emotions, but that, this isn't the end of the road for them. No, it isn't. And to show them that they're not alone. They're not alone, and there's people out there that understand them and can support them. So we'll be creating lots of different events here in London and the UK, across the whole of the UK. So watch this space.
Oh, I'm so glad you said across the UK, because I think it's, I know you're in the infancy stages with this, but they're obviously successful in the US. So being able to emulate that model here in the UK, and support young women right across the UK is really exciting. Thank you for sharing that, Siobhan, and what a fantastic cause. When you were talking about the initial moment at 17, you said, and I found, I can't remember your words, but something to get myself through the challenge. What were some of the strengths or the characteristics that popped up for you when you were coming out of that, do you think? Will contribute to the leader that you are today?
Without a doubt, anyone that knows me has said that resilience is something that comes to mind. I'm definitely, I wouldn't even say a survivor, somebody that wants to make the most of life. And I think that's from also seeing sadly, my mum died when she was the age I am now, which is very young. And it's made me really see the real value of life. You know, life can be short. I don't mean be reckless and not care for your life, but I think appreciating life, it means that I'm probably more likely to take calculated risks, you know, and not reckless again, but, you know, to really go for it. Just go for it. I believe in empowering people. I have that passion for life, that passion for achieving and being the best version of yourself. And I don't mean that in a perfectionist way, but I mean, I'm very, very interested in self-development, self-awareness, you know, personal and professional development as well.
Yeah. Oh, I really love that, about empowering yourself and others to be the best version of themselves. And that's all we really want to do, isn't it? In the things that we're providing in terms of services, or in your case through the charity. And I really, really love that for you.
Thank you.
You know, well, what a fantastic cause, and I'm so grateful to you for sharing that with us today. And I hope that those of you that are listening or watching and are interested in finding out more, Siobhan's details will be in the show notes below, so that you can contact her directly, and I'm sure she'd be delighted to share more information about empower her, for one, but also about working with the Mears Collective if you think that Siobhan can help you with your business strategy and processes. Because I think I've mentioned this already, had the pleasure to work with Siobhan and her team a few times, and long may that continue. And it's a fabulous experience from end to end. Super professional, super friendly, and super, I'm going to coin a phrase, on point, which is on point.
Ah, lovely.
But you really are on point, Siobhan.
Thank you. I love that analogy. No, it's, you know, I love to connect with other people as well. I'm all about building relationships and, you know, expanding my network as well. So that's, you know, I'd be delighted to connect with anybody listening to this.
Yes, super. And I think I might have heard some little people in the background.
Yes, you can. There. I did say to you, we're getting close to that time.
Needed elsewhere. So we will let you go for today. You know, and I'm just gonna excuse me, I'm just going to say this, Siobhan. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you for the last 3 episodes. Oh, my voice is letting me down a bit. Excuse me. Too much talking today, clearly. But I would love to have you back again in the future if you're game.
Game on. I'd be delighted to come back. Thank you. I'm sure there's so much more that we could talk about. So it's been my pleasure as well.
Yeah, and I think for this first round of, you know, talking to guests, we've got a sort of what do you think, a system, a way of structuring the 3 episodes, and that doesn't mean we can't change it for future and see where else Game of Leadership might take us. Thank you so much for bringing all of you, Siobhan. I've absolutely loved it, and I hope the listeners have too. And we will see you again soon. But for now, I'll just say bye for now, not goodbye forever.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you.
Thank you for listening to Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. This has been the 3rd episode and final episode for a little while anyway, with our guest, who shared their pivotal moments that make them the leader they are today. Again, I talk about uniqueness a lot. Every guest story and their pivotal moments, the challenges they faced, the issues they faced over the years to get to where they are now, and how they pulled themselves through all of that, makes them the leader they are today. And each one of those stories is unique and different. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with them and see what that meant for them. Now, once again, it's your turn to reflect on what you've heard today, see what resonates for you, and think about what that might mean for your leadership moving forwards. I'm Paula Eddie Wilcox, and I look forward to welcoming you back next time on Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. Bye for now.